Red edition, sex. Have I got your attention? In China recently, a couple fell to their deaths after the window they were having sex against gave way. The window shadowed. I'm having a hard time with this. I've got these images coming up here. Are you with me? Hang on. The window shattered in the throes of passion, and the man and woman then plunged to their deaths on the pavement below. Horrified witnesses said, "Hey, they're still embraced." They used other words than that. You know, the Chinese press recently, though, has denounced this, and they said, hey, instead they jumped to their death. They were naked, but they did commit suicide. Either or, it's a pretty unique story, and I'm going to stick with the sex one because it sounds a little more interesting. Hey, in Canada, recently I did a story about a woman at the, hard to get back on track here now when I got all these visions in my mind. Here we go. The Barbara Schiffler Clinic serves female victims of violence in Ontario, and the Supreme Court recently ruled that they still have an opportunity to get more information put together to challenge the gun laws, the long gun registry in Canada, and they're talking about how the women's rights are violated to security and equality. I'm just about back on track. It's taken a while, but I'm just about there, okay? And I suggested that people get together, women, and sue the government for not having, under the Security and Equality Act and the Charter of Rights, the right to defend their life and their person, and they should be able to get a concealed carry permit and carry a gun. And I'm very pleased to report that many women have contacted us and said, hey, is there any group that we can get together with and do this? We like the idea. And a lot of them have gotten together, they're forming groups, and they say that they're going to collect money and sue the government for that right, and I hope they do. In Johannesburg, Georgia, we have a stupid thief file here. A 20-year-old man, Elijah Freeman, he recently stole a car at gunpoint, and after a short police chase, he crashed the stolen car onto the front lawn of police headquarters. If you're going to run away from the cops, probably don't aim in the general direction of where they all live, huh? That's what he did, and he's been arrested, and he won't have a happy time for the next few years. Or maybe he will have. He'll be looked after pretty well. Now, recently, we had a Eric Holder's Justice Department story going on here about racism and different things, and I've talked about this before. And you know, Obama and him, they're teleprompter reader types, and that's all they're doing. They're putting together all their speeches and they're attacking white people, and I think anybody who isn't black, and it's just wrong. And I've said here on this show before that they together or collectively have set back race relations on this continent, I believe, are worldwide 100 years or more. It's just very sad with what they're doing. But you know, white people will not understand racism, so this one announcer says, until their children are murdered. Okay, what about Sandy Hook and so many other places? White children do get murdered, and what a terrible thing to have somebody say. And this was said live on the progressive cable network owned by General Electric, and it's funded by the Rockefeller brothers and so on. I mean, it's a left-wing scattered movement, and it's very unfortunate. Imagine talking about how white kids don't get murdered much, and maybe they should, so you guys could get it. Wow. Okay, now on the cover page or home page of Yahoo in nowhere for the last few weeks, there's been a picture of two men kissing. You know what? That's enough. I get it. And it's talking about has your attitude. Here's the Pulse of Canada. This particular one says, has your attitude towards homosexuality changed? You know, I guess it didn't much the first time I saw it, but after several weeks of looking at it, of course, it's changed, and I'm thinking, you bunch of bullies, you're only 1% of the population. How dare you have two men kissing every time I open up my computer, my internet? I'm offended, and I'm not comfortable with it, and I don't care what you do in your life, marry a bale of hay, as I've so often said also, but to have it in my face all of the time, that's something that the Quebec government is doing, and other governments, left-wing people, seem to think that you know, we need to be protected from our own thoughts, I guess. Do whatever you like, say whatever you like. I'm not comfortable with men kissing men, mainstream, and I don't think most straight people are, even people who agree with the concept of them marrying and other things. How dare you continue to push this on me? Ticks me right off. Just wanted to say that. Former Ontario Deputy Education Minister recently has been charged for additional, because obviously there was a first time, child porn charges. His name is Benjamin Levine. He was Ontario Premier who is homosexual also. Her part of her transition team as she took office, you got a whole bunch of sex things going on with different people. It's a little bit weird and very disturbing that you have a guy that in the education system in Ontario was instrumental in teaching children about sex. And this guy's a bloody pervert, and he's going to, get a check and a shirt and maybe some probation. He should be hung from the highest tree. There ain't nothing worse than fooling around with the innocence of children. And this guy did it, and he should be hung until dead. As I've said, capital punishment, where are you when you're needed? Let me end today with something lighter, because I'm getting all worked up. Okay, calming down now. Here we go. A flight attendant on a recent flight that landed in Chicago said this after a landing that was far from perfect. We ask you to please remain seated as Captain Kangaroo bounces us up to the terminal. Y'all, and tomorrow we'll get more for you from the right. See ya.